Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to take a look at another horrible case with you. On January 12, 2023, CBS News Minnesota aired a 24-second clip reporting the death of Donald Blome, a gray-haired old man who passed away on January 10, 2023, at the age of 73 from natural causes consistent with age. But who was this man who made it into the news? Donald Blome was not just any ordinary old man. He was a notorious criminal whose life was marked by a series of heinous crimes and acts of violence that spanned decades. His death brings to an end a long-running saga of brutality that began in the 1970s and culminated in the tragic murder of Kathy Porier. Blome's story is one of evasion, repeated offenses, and the failure of the justice system to keep a dangerous man from harming others. Let's delve into the dark history of Donald Blome, tracing his criminal activities and the eventual capture that led to his imprisonment. This story is a chilling reminder of the depths of human depravity and the devastating impact one individual can have on so many lives. Blome's crime spree began in 1975 with the kidnapping of a young girl. He gagged, assaulted, and locked her in the trunk of his car. However, this brave girl managed to escape and promptly turned him over to the police. Despite the severity of his actions, Blome received a lenient sentence, allowing him to return to society where he continued his criminal behavior. In 1978, Blome committed another aggravated assault. His punishment once again did little to deter his violent tendencies. By 1983, his actions had escalated significantly. That year, he was arrested for criminal sexual conduct. His most horrifying crime during this period involved the kidnapping of two young girls. Blome threatened them with a knife, tied them to a tree, and choked one repeatedly. His intention to instill terror was evident as he repeatedly told the girls he was going to do something terrible to them. Luckily, a police patrol noticed their improperly parked car and intervened, rescuing the girls just in time. Blome fled the scene, but was arrested 2 months later when one of the girls identified him. Despite his arrest and subsequent conviction, Blome's behavior did not change. He continued to be a threat to society, demonstrating the inadequacies of the criminal justice system in dealing with repeat offenders. Blome's criminal activities continued unabated. After his arrest in 1983, he was still able to manipulate the system to his advantage. By 1992, a psychologist who examined Blome concluded that without close supervision and monitoring, he would likely resume his antisocial behavior. This prediction proved accurate, as Blome managed to change his name, secure a job, and get married, all while continuing his violent activities. By May 1999, Blome had 6 felony convictions on his record, 5 of which involved kidnapping and violence. His ability to evade long-term imprisonment and maintain a facade of normalcy is a testament to his manipulative nature and the failures of the criminal justice system to protect the public from such a dangerous individual. The most infamous of Blome's crimes occurred on May 26, 1999, when he kidnapped Kathy Porier from a convenience store where she was working alone on the night shift. Surveillance footage showed a large man, later identified as Blome, holding Kathy by the neck and forcing her out of the store. Witnesses reported seeing Blome's distinctive black Ford F-150 pickup truck in the area around the time of the kidnapping. Despite extensive searches and the involvement of the community, Kathy's fate remained unknown until Blome's eventual capture. Blome's capture and subsequent trial brought some measure of justice for his numerous victims. However, his ability to commit such crimes over a prolonged period raises important questions about the effectiveness of the justice system in dealing with serial offenders. Blome's case underscores the need for stricter monitoring and more severe penalties for individuals with a history of violent behavior. As we reflect on the life and crimes of Donald Blome, it's clear that his death marks the end of a dark chapter in criminal history. His story serves as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, justice, and the ongoing efforts needed to prevent such tragedies in the future. On January 12, 2023, CBS News Minnesota aired a 24-second clip reporting the death of a gray-haired old man, Donald Blome. Blome, who passed away on January 10, 2023, at the age of 73 from natural causes consistent with age, was not just any ordinary old man. His death brought an end to a life marked by a series of heinous crimes and acts of violence that spanned several decades. Blome's story is a chilling tale of evasion, repeated offenses, and the tragic failure of the justice system to keep a dangerous individual from continuing to harm others. Blom's criminal history is as disturbing as it is lengthy. His descent into a life of crime began in 1975, marking the start of a terrifying spree that would last for decades. In 1975, Blom committed his first known serious offense, the kidnapping of a young girl. Blom gagged, assaulted, and locked the girl in the trunk of his car, a terrifying ordeal that left an indelible mark on his victim. Miraculously, the girl managed to escape from her confinement and notified the authorities. Despite the gravity of his crime, Blom received a lenient sentence, a decision that would have severe consequences for many more victims in the years to come. Blom's early lenient punishment did nothing to deter his violent tendencies. Instead, it seemed to embolden him. In 1978, he committed another crime, this time involving aggravated assault. His violent behavior continued unchecked, and by 1983, Blom's criminal activities had escalated significantly. In that year, he was arrested for criminal sexual conduct. His most horrifying crime during this period involved the kidnapping of 2 young girls. Armed with a knife, Blom threatened the girls, tied them to a tree, and choked one of them repeatedly. His intention to instill terror was evident, and his actions showed a complete disregard for human life and dignity. The ordeal ended only when a police patrol noticed the improperly parked car and intervened, rescuing the girls from their dire situation. Blom fled the scene, but was apprehended 2 months later after one of the girls identified him. Despite his arrest and subsequent conviction, Blom continued to be a threat to society, a testament to the inadequacies of the criminal justice system in dealing with repeat offenders. Blom's ability to manipulate the system to his advantage was evident throughout his criminal career. Even after his arrest in 1983, he managed to continue his violent activities. By 1992, a psychologist who examined Blom concluded that without close supervision and monitoring, he would likely resume his antisocial behavior. This prediction proved accurate, as Blom managed to change his name, secure a job, and get married, all while continuing his violent activities. By May 1999, Blom had amassed 6 felony convictions on his record, 5 of which involved kidnapping and violence. His ability to evade long-term imprisonment and maintain a facade of normalcy is a testament to his manipulative nature, and the failures of the criminal justice system to protect the public from such a dangerous individual. The most infamous of Blom's crimes occurred on May 26, 1999, when he kidnapped Kathy Porier from a convenience store where she was working alone on the night shift. Surveillance footage showed a large man, later identified as Blom, holding Kathy by the neck and forcing her out of the store. Witnesses reported seeing Blom's distinctive black Ford F-150 pickup truck in the area around the time of the kidnapping. Despite extensive searches and the involvement of the community, Kathy's fate remained unknown until Blom's eventual capture. Blom's capture and subsequent trial brought some measure of justice for his numerous victims. However, his ability to commit such crimes over a prolonged period raises important questions about the effectiveness of the justice system in dealing with serial offenders. Blom's case underscores the need for stricter monitoring and more severe penalties for individuals with a history of violent behavior. As we reflect on the life and crimes of Donald Blom, it's clear that his death marks the end of a dark chapter in criminal history. His story serves as a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, justice, and the ongoing efforts needed to prevent such tragedies in the future. Donald Blom's descent into darkness took a terrifying turn with the escalation of his violent acts in subsequent years. The 1970s and 1980s saw him plunge deeper into the depths of depravity, leaving a trail of devastation in his wake that shocked the community to its core. In 1978, Blom's criminal record grew darker with an incident of aggravated assault that sent shivers down the spines of those who crossed his path. This marked a disturbing evolution in his behavior, signaling a shift towards increasingly violent acts that would define his criminal legacy. However, it was in 1983 that Blom's violence reached its most chilling crescendo. In a brazen display of cruelty, he kidnapped 2 innocent girls, plunging them into a nightmare from which they could scarcely hope to awaken. Binding them to a tree in a remote wilderness, Blom subjected his victims to unspeakable horrors, their cries for mercy falling on deaf ears. The terror inflicted upon these young girls defied comprehension, as Blom reveled in his power over them with a sadistic glee that bordered on the demonic. With each chokehold, each menacing threat, he asserted his dominance with chilling precision, leaving his victims trembling in fear for their very lives. It was only through the swift and decisive action of law enforcement that Blum's reign of terror was brought to an end. Responding to a report of suspicious activity, authorities were able to apprehend him before he could inflict further harm. His arrest sent shockwaves through the community, prompting soul-searching and calls for justice. The horror of Blum's crimes reverberated through the years, leaving scars that would never fully heal for those who were unfortunate enough to cross his path. His legacy serves as a grim reminder of the capacity for evil that lurks within the human heart, a stark warning against the darkness that threatens to consume us all. Despite the ominous warning from a psychologist in 1992, Donald Blum's descent into darkness showed no signs of abating. The chilling prediction that without close supervision, he would likely resume his antisocial behavior proved to be hauntingly accurate, as Blum continued to leave a trail of devastation in his wake. His criminal behavior persisted, defying attempts at rehabilitation and intervention. Blum seemed to revel in the chaos and destruction he wrought, showing a brazen disregard for the law and the well-being of others. His actions were a testament to the depths of depravity to which the human mind can sink when left unchecked. Despite numerous encounters with law enforcement and brushes with the justice system, Blum remained undeterred in his quest for power and dominance. His continued criminal behavior served as a chilling reminder of the dangers posed by individuals with a penchant for violence and a complete lack of empathy for their fellow human beings. As the years passed, Blum's reign of terror only seemed to intensify, leaving a wake of devastation in its path. His actions were a stark reminder of the fragility of human life and the ever-present threat posed by those who choose to embrace darkness over light. The quiet night of May 26, 1999, shattered the lives of many when Kathy Porier, a young woman working the night shift at a local convenience store, was snatched away from the safety of her workplace. The chilling events that unfolded that fateful evening sent shockwaves through the community, leaving a sense of fear and unease that would linger for years to come. Surveillance footage captured the haunting moment when a shadowy figure, disguised in the cloak of darkness, led Kathy out of the store against her will. The grainy images served as a grim reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows, waiting to pounce on unsuspecting victims with ruthless efficiency. For Kathy, it was a moment of terror and confusion, as she found herself thrust into the clutches of a predator whose intentions remained shrouded in darkness. Her desperate cries for help echoed through the empty aisles of the store, falling on deaf ears as the assailant dragged her away into the night. The abduction sent shockwaves through the tight-knit community, sparking a frantic search for the missing woman that would consume the efforts of law enforcement and volunteers alike. But despite their best efforts, Kathy remained elusive, her fate hanging in the balance as the hours turned into days and the days into agonizing weeks. As the search intensified and the days stretched into weeks, hope began to wane, replaced by a gnawing sense of dread that settled over the community like a suffocating shroud. The once vibrant streets now lay eerily silent, haunted by the specter of a young woman lost to the darkness. Kathy's abduction served as a sobering reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present threat of violence that lurked just beyond the safety of our doorstep. Her story would become a cautionary tale, a grim reminder of the dangers that lurked in the shadows, waiting to claim their next victim in a moment of unsuspecting vulnerability. As the hours turned into days and the search for Kathy Porier intensified, law enforcement agencies from both local and state levels mobilized in a desperate bid to unravel the mystery shrouding her disappearance. Witness statements, painstakingly gathered and meticulously analyzed, formed the cornerstone of the investigation, providing crucial leads that would ultimately lead to a breakthrough in the case. Among the myriad of witnesses, one individual stood out: Daryl Brown, a coworker whose keen eye and sharp memory would prove instrumental in cracking the case wide open. Brown's timely tip, spurred by a composite sketch circulated by authorities, provided the crucial link that would lead investigators to their prime suspect, Donald Blum. The involvement of local and state authorities lent a sense of urgency to the investigation, as seasoned detectives and seasoned officers combed through the evidence with meticulous precision, leaving no stone unturned in their quest for justice. The relentless pursuit of truth saw the case evolve from a mere missing persons report to a full-fledged homicide investigation, with Kathy's fate hanging in the balance. The long-awaited breakthrough came with Blum's arrest, a momentous occasion that marked the culmination of weeks of tireless effort and unwavering determination on the part of law enforcement. Initially cooperative, Blum stunned investigators with a chilling confession, admitting to Kathy's abduction and subsequent murder in a moment of unguarded candor. However, the euphoria of the confession was short-lived, as Blum soon recanted his statement, claiming coercion and duress at the hands of interrogators. His abrupt reversal sent shockwaves through the law enforcement community, casting doubt on the veracity of his initial confession and plunging the investigation into uncertainty once more. The saga of Kathy Poirier's abduction and murder had taken yet another twist, leaving investigators grappling with the complex web of deceit and deception spun by Blum. As the wheels of justice continued to turn, the truth remained elusive, shrouded in a veil of uncertainty that hung heavy over the case. The trial of Donald Blum, a pivotal moment in the pursuit of justice for Kathy Poirier, unfolded with all the intensity and drama befitting a high-profile homicide case. Inside the hallowed halls of the courtroom, the stage was set for a legal showdown unlike any other, as prosecutors and defense attorneys clashed in a battle of wits and wills. Blum's trial, spanning weeks of grueling testimony and riveting legal arguments, laid bare the harrowing details of his nefarious deeds, casting a stark spotlight on the dark recesses of his twisted psyche. Key witnesses, including Blum's previous victims, took the stand, their haunting accounts of trauma and terror serving as damning indictments of his heinous crimes. Forensic evidence, meticulously gathered and rigorously analyzed, painted a damning portrait of Blum's guilt, linking him irrefutably to Kathy's abduction and murder. Every shred of testimony, every piece of evidence presented, served to bolster the prosecution's case against him, leaving little room for doubt in the minds of the jurors. As the trial reached its crescendo, tension hung heavy in the air, the weight of justice pressing down on the shoulders of all involved. In the end, after hours of deliberation and contemplation, the jury rendered its verdict, delivering a resounding declaration of guilt that reverberated throughout the courtroom. With the trial concluded and justice seemingly served, the aftermath of Kathy Poirier's abduction and murder left an indelible mark on all those touched by the tragedy. For Kathy's family and loved ones, the verdict brought a measure of closure, a semblance of solace in the face of unimaginable loss. Yet, even as Blum was led away to face the consequences of his heinous actions, the scars left by his crimes continued to linger, a painful reminder of the fragility of life and the depths of human depravity. The ripple effects of his deeds would echo far beyond the confines of the courtroom, resonating throughout the community and beyond. As the dust settled and the curtain closed on this tragic chapter in the annals of justice, one thing remained abundantly clear. The memory of Kathy Poirier would endure, a beacon of hope and resilience in the face of darkness. Though gone, she would never be forgotten, her spirit living on in the hearts of all those who had fought tirelessly to bring her killer to justice. After enduring a lengthy trial fraught with tension and emotion, the moment of reckoning finally arrived for Donald Blum. As the jury deliberated on his fate, the weight of justice hung heavy in the air, the culmination of weeks of legal proceedings and impassioned arguments. With bated breath, the courtroom awaited the jury's verdict, knowing that their decision would shape the course of Blum's life forever. And then, in a solemn pronouncement that echoed like thunder, the verdict was rendered guilty. For Blum, the realization of his fate was a bitter pill to swallow, a stark reminder of the consequences of his heinous actions. As the judge pronounced his sentence, the weight of his crimes bore down upon him with crushing force, sealing his fate in the annals of justice. Life in prison without the possibility of parole, a sentence befitting the gravity of his offenses, a punishment designed to ensure that he would never again walk free among society. Behind bars, he would spend the rest of his days, condemned to live out his existence in the confines of a prison cell, a captive of his own depravity. For Kathy Poirier's loved ones, the verdict brought a measure of closure, a sense of justice served in the wake of unspeakable tragedy. Though her absence would forever leave a void in their lives, the knowledge that her killer would face the full extent of the law offered a semblance of solace in their grief. As Blum was led away to begin his sentence, the echoes of his crimes reverberated throughout the courtroom, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lurked within the human soul. Though his days of freedom were at an end, the scars left by his actions would endure, a testament to the enduring power of justice in the face of evil. The ripple effects of Kathy Poirier's tragic murder extended far beyond the confines of the courtroom, sparking legislative action aimed at preventing similar atrocities in the future. In response to her senseless death, lawmakers enacted Katie's Law, a landmark piece of legislation designed to strengthen the monitoring and tracking of predatory sex offenders. With its implementation, authorities gained crucial tools to identify and apprehend individuals like Donald Blome before they could inflict further harm upon innocent victims. As the final chapter of Donald Blome's trial drew to a close, the echoes of Kathy Porier's murder continued to reverberate throughout society, serving as a sobering reminder of the enduring impact of violent crime. While justice had been served in the courtroom, the scars left by Blome's actions would linger for a lifetime, a testament to the profound and lasting effects of evil upon its victims and their loved ones. In the wake of tragedy, Kathy's legacy lived on through Katie's Law, a beacon of hope and progress in the ongoing fight for a safer, more just society. Yet amidst the triumph of legislation, the human toll of Blome's crimes remained all too real, a poignant reminder of the fragility of life and the urgent need for vigilance in the face of darkness. As we reflect on this harrowing case, may we find solace in the resilience of the human spirit and a renewed commitment to upholding the principles of justice and compassion for all. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the chilling case of Donald Blome and Kathy Porier. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more riveting stories like this one. By subscribing, you'll stay updated on all the latest content and continue to explore the darker corners of human nature with me. Together, we can shed light on the darkest of deeds and strive for a safer, more just world. As we conclude today's discussion, I urge you to remain vigilant and aware of the challenges we face in combating crime and seeking justice for victims like Kathy Porier. Remember to stay safe, look out for one another, and never underestimate the power of knowledge and awareness. Until next time, take care, and may we all work towards a brighter, more compassionate future. Goodbye for now.